All right, hello YouTube, and hello to person from Arrowzoom that I'm talking with about possibly returning these things. These are polyester panels, which they claim are good for placing on your door. And one moment. Let's go like this. So they claim that they're good for placing on your door to uh, soundproof, which soundproofing, as many people know, is kind of confusing because there's like sound dampening where you reduce echo with the egg crate type foam, and then there's soundproof deadening, which is what I want, which in some rough testing, these seem to not have done that. I'm going to go over some of the things that I tried. I did try putting them up on the door, but it's not perfectly sealed, so that test doesn't count. But it is a solid core door that's like a fiber type solid on the inside, so not completely solid, but still more solid than the other doors. Let's see. So, one thing that I tried aside from that is behind the black backdrop there is my bed. So it's got a mattress, it's got some sheets and a comforter on there. And I tried putting this microphone underneath the mattress so that I could see how sound dampening, deadening that was. And underneath that's just a piece of wood, and then there's air underneath the bed. And the wood's like, not very thick, but I put it under there and it did a really good job of dampening the noise. I'll just show you here quickly. 1 second. All right, you're now hearing me under the mattress. That is pretty quiet, isn't it? So, once I found out that was a good test subject, I recognize these are all so far not great tests, but I then took Arrowzoom panels and I kind of mushed them on top of the mic like this, and I had a bigger space to work with, so they were better spread, but I did that. Nothing really, and like going like this doesn't really do a whole lot. It might reduce some echo. There's not a lot of echo in this room anyways. I've even tried another thing where the microphone is like this, and I wedge two panels like this, and I won't be able to do it because the mic's not on his stand, but squeezing it like that, I've gotten some difference, but none of them has been as good as the test that I am about to do. What you see, I've got a cardboard box. The opening is just a little bit larger on one side than the Arrowzoom panel, and it's covered in this moving blanket from Harbor Freight, which has actually... Ooh, I'm peaking a bit. Let's turn my volume down some. So this... I'll put my pop back on too. This has actually done a good job of reducing noise. I did an off-camera test a few weeks ago, and this thing held just right up in front. Here's with this in between me and the microphone. You can actually notice a difference. Whereas with Arrowzoom panels, not so much. And covering the microphone was even better. So I'm now going to take this microphone and put it inside of this box here. So you guys can still hear me pretty good, right? Next, I'm going to cover it up with the blanket here. And as you can see, we need to switch back over to this source so that you guys can see waveforms here. So right now with me talking, we are looking at around negative 25 or so inside of the box. I'm looking almost directly at the microphone, but it's more of a this angle to it. So you can see we're looking at about negative 25 or so, a little bit higher when I have some of the higher notes and talking. And then if I go ahead and I cover this up, now we're looking at a little closer to negative 20 when I'm talking. And I'm trying to talk about the same level. And so then if I bring up even more of the blanket from the bottom, so we have even thicker, we are looking at even less. So clearly this blanket does something, and putting a few of these up, either hanging them, or maybe I fold them and buy my own and fold them and sew them, because this is my parents, and I put them on a door that way. something like that is probably what I'm going to try for. But now we can test the Arrowzoom panels with a better setup, because we know that this box is doing a really good job of blocking out noises. So again, we're back up to our negative 25 on our meter for the Zoom microphone, which, by the way, I have a Rode NTG4 Plus plugged into a Zoom H6. So I'm going to now, let's see, we need to get, okay, try and make ourselves, okay, hold that like that. So the opening is still open, obviously, and we are looking at about negative 25, maybe one slightly lower because I've partially covered it. And now if I come in with my Arrowzoom panel, and I'm going to try and make sure it's still open behind. Okay. Alright. Switch. Okay. Now we have the Arrowzoom panel in the opening, and with one Arrowzoom panel in there, we are looking at, I would say, we're not peaking as high as we were before, but there is still, and by peaking I don't mean like peaking the whole mic, I mean like, so we're not going as high as we were on the volume before. I would say that's pretty enclosed. Sometimes we do, but if I pull it away just for comparison, yeah, as you can see, consistently, well, maybe not. I would say, so we're about negative 20, 25 right now. Get the panel back up, and as we can see here, yeah, there's maybe some reduction, but not much. And yeah, it's not a perfect seal around the edge of our box here, but I think it gives us a number to go on. What if I did 2 panels? So, okay, now I've got 2 panels blocking up that space, and yeah, there's some, but not as much as they're claiming, which is, they're saying like 20 decibels, but I'm expecting with this imperfect test, maybe I'll get, I don't know, 10 or 15 decibels, something not exactly what they're claiming, but less. And then, again, just for show, if I were to take this, and if I were to cover this just loosely, there's still a tiny little opening in the front, and it's mostly closed, and we are noticing a difference here, even though I have an opening about that big and having it completely sealed, which I'm going to try and do now, where I cover this over like this. Yeah, it's making a difference. And if I were to then take up or this fabric and have it up here like this, then we should see even more of a difference. And I just think that this seems to work better, and the Arrowzoom panels don't seem to be doing exactly what they claim. I recognize that my testing is not perfect, and you know, maybe I'm not getting the exact specific situation in which these work, which we are still working on, you know, getting the door set up. So, pull you guys out of our box now. We're working on getting the door set up still. And so if, you know, if you want, if it would still be within the return window, I could maybe try and attach these to the door with, once we get that sealed. But I'm really doubtful that they are actually going to give the number of rated decibels, or give the reduction that I need, because I need to block someone out who's talking on the outside of this door. But based on testing and all these things, I don't think they're really going to work for that. I'm sure that they work very similar to the egg crate foam and that sort of a thing for reducing echo. But as far as actually deadening noise, I haven't seen anything to give enough evidence that they do that, and I'm hoping that we can work out a return for these. Anyways, thanks for watching. I know this is, for my YouTube viewers, a little more disappointing of a video, but that's okay. I'll see you guys in something fun. I don't know what it will be and when it will be, but see you in whatever's next. Oh, and guys, go support me on Patreon, patreon.com/cultures101, so you can help me afford whatever it is I end up doing to help block noise from coming into my door.